Hi everyone, it's Teresa Green from Slow Paths Wellness and it's Mindful Monday again. Today I wanted to talk about feeling what's going on in your body as the seasons change. It's now considered spring in the Chinese medicine lunar calendar, and that means that even though it's still February and it could still snow, in fact we had a little bit of snow today, and even though the Roman calendar spring is a long ways off, the energy of spring is here. And if you sit for a moment and think about it, you can feel that. When you go outside, if you look at the plants growing, at least on this hemisphere, you'll notice things like daffodils, some of the different bulbs, some of the early plants, some of the little flowers that come out really early. They're starting to peek their little heads up right now. And if you pay attention, if you sit for a moment and when you go outside, even if the weather's cold, if you sit and kind of feel what's there, a lot of times you'll notice that even though the temperature is cold, even though it may be in the 30s Fahrenheit or colder, a lot of times you can sense a little bit of a difference. There's kind of an energy there. You kind of feel like doing things again. You start wanting to wander around the different home stores and look at seeds, or look at gardening stuff and things like that. And that's not just because spring's coming, so all the seed companies and all the different big box home stores are advertising those things. It's because that same energy, it's in those little flowers and in those little birds that make them start getting more active, and the little flowers start popping up. And in fact, I saw some daffodils out on my walk today. They already have little buds. They haven't opened yet, but they're there. That same energy that makes all of that happen on this part of the planet also affects you. And so part of mindfulness, and especially when you combine that with Chinese medicine, is to have a mindfulness of how you interact with the world around you and how that world around you affects you, and trying to live as much as possible in harmony with that, with the natural world, because when you're fighting it, it's really hard. That's why earlier I talked about how doing resolutions in the beginning of January, in the middle of winter, is a really hard time to do that, because it's winter, and in wintertime our minds we want to rest more because there's not as much sunlight and it's cold, at least in the areas that have winter time that's really cold. And also from a Chinese medicine viewpoint, it's the time of year when the water element, which deals with the kidney and bladder and also with the adrenaline system, is the more active one, or the one that's kind of in charge of things. And that's an element that deals with the potential of things and being able to be quiet and kind of daydream and sort of the primordial soup kind of feeling of life. When it shifts over from the water element to the wood element, that works more with what we would call liver energy, gallbladder energy, and that deals more with things happening at the right time. It deals a lot with ambition, with drive, with the desire to do things, with creativity, with establishing, or I guess more enforcing boundaries. Establishing is another season, and we'll get to that one when it comes around. And so you have the desire to do stuff a little bit more in that season, that little kind of quickening of everything. It affects human beings just like it affects everybody else. So this is a really good time to do something new. So all those resolutions in January, especially if you didn't feel like you really got on track with them, this is the time to kind of revisit them, because right now the entire energy of half a planet is kind of on your side. It's on your side to step out, to do something different, to do something new, to set a goal, to move towards something that you want. This is an excellent time to do that. And the mindfulness portion of that can be just sitting with that energy, kind of like when you start your car and you give it a chance to kind of warm up. So instead of when you wake up in the morning or when you get to work, just kind of launching into stuff and pushing into activity without really taking the time to become intentional about it, give yourself a break and just sit. So I'll show you. You can sit for a moment, and you can either already have done a to-do list, or you can be sitting before your to-do list and just sort of get yourself in the sense of how you want to feel for the day. Set your intention for the day, but also set your feeling for the day. So for me, this is actually late in the day here, but in the morning I try to sit for a moment or two and think, okay, what do I want today to bring me? Not just a checklist of things done, but how do I want to feel? And one of the ways I almost always want to feel is joyful. I usually want to feel very confident, and I often want to feel productive. And then sometimes I just want to feel relaxed and at peace. So, not so much a matter of striving to do something all the time, just at peace. So, sort of a peaceful productivity is what today kind of wanted to feel like, with that little frisson of energy underneath it. So, a peaceful, energetic productivity. So, I'm going to sit for a moment myself and just think about peaceful, productive energy. And so you can do the same thing. Decide what you would want the day to feel like. Do you want it to feel like a recharging day, like a day to rebuild? Do you want it to be a day for quiet? Do you want it to be a day that you can really just sort of let down your guard and just sort of let the day be lazy? Do you want to have a day where you feel very energized and like you're really moving around, getting stuff done? What would you like to have your day look like? And then give yourself some time. For the sake of the video, just the timing of the video, I'm only going to take about 10 seconds here. But in your own day, set a timer for a minute or 5 minutes or 30 seconds, whatever time you feel like you can do that and kind of get settled in that feeling. And if at first it makes you feel restless, do a shorter period of time. And then as the weeks go on, you can sort of increase it a little bit so that you feel like you really are launching your day from a place of being in control of it and not feeling like you're just kind of, dodging bullets or trying to keep the plate spinning, that you're actually just able to sort of move into your day with a feeling of confidence, of peace, of intention, and also with the joy, because we don't need more frantic people in the world, really. We need people who are able to have joyful, attentive lives where we're able to move in the direction that we feel we're called to move in, and to be able to do things for ourselves and for others from a place of peaceful contentment. So I'm going to, like I said, give you about a 10-minute thing. So for me, we're doing peaceful, productive energy. And you can do whatever your feeling that you want to capture for the day is. So, peaceful, productive energy. And since we're doing this as a mindfulness exercise, I'm going to talk you through it a little bit. So for me, when I think of peaceful, productive energy for me, I had a teacher a long time ago that talked about viewing things coming at you, because I was one of those frantic people that I don't think we need to have more and more people that mimic that part of my life. I was always feeling like I had to run to do this and run to do that. And what if this person was worried? And what if that person was worried? And she said, Teresa, why don't you sit somewhere and get comfortable, sit back in your chair, and picture yourself as if you were a queen, as if you were a ruler, and all the things going on in your day are down below you. So you are the one that gets to choose what you're doing. You have the ultimate power over what you're doing in your day. You are the person that gets to make that choice. And see those things as different priorities, and you can look at them all, and you can choose what is the correct thing to do for you for this time period, for the day or the hour or whatever time period you're thinking about. And that's kind of how I think of this peaceful, productive energy that I want. Like a ruler or a CEO or somebody who's able to create the circumstances that they want in life, and to be able to implement things, to be able to do things that are helpful and productive and useful, and do it from a place of abundance and of plenty. And so I'm sitting here, I've got my arms rested, I've got my shoulders down, I'm able to sort of survey my kingdom in front of me and really take time to sit and think, okay, how do I want to spend the next few hours? So like I said, I'm going to take about 10 seconds and just sit in that feeling of power, of energy, but of peace. So you can pick the adjectives that you want. Between, I'd say 2 and 5 is probably a good number. And then just sit in a way that you think someone who's really embodying those feelings would sit. and just capture that moment. Now, you might not get a to-do list out of this, but you might get an attitude that you'll take with you as you do whatever your to-do list is. It might make a difference when you're talking to people and someone comes in and tries to give you extra work, that you can either say, all right, I will do that, but as I do that, I'm going to not be doing this other thing. Or you might be saying, I won't be doing that today. I'll be doing these things that I've already set as priorities. It may change, even if you still do the same things, it may change the way that you do them. You may give yourself permission to take a little extra time to prepare something before you just launch into it. You may give yourself permission to do something imperfectly if it's something that just needs to be checked off and there's other priorities that you find more important. You may give yourself permission to cut some things off of your to-do list so that you can really focus your energy on the things that are important to you. Or you may decide to add something to your to-do list because maybe you left out fun when you wrote your list for today. And so you decide that you're going to add a 15-minute walk somewhere, or you're going to add a quick stop somewhere at a shop that you like, or you're going to add the really cool coffee from Starbucks or whatever that you want to have, so that or 15 minutes just to play on the computer, that you're going to add time to help you be the person you want to be, not the productivity machine that other people expect of you or that you sometimes expect of yourself. So let's sit and just have a nice, peaceful, energetic, productive feeling and allow yourself to sort of embody that quality so that no matter what you choose to do with your day, you're doing it from a place where you feel good. Because when you're feeling good, you're much more likely to be able to make a positive influence on the world around you. So that's it for today. I'll just ease on off into this with my little meditation mindfulness moment, and I look forward to seeing you next week for next week's Mindful Monday.